Sysbm here. Welcome to another episode coming at you from choosingyourrelationships.com. And if you've been looking at the news, which I don't look at the news, I just see things online, on Facebook, and people who share some stories of what they've heard over the past 90 days. People have been telling me a lot of stuff that's been going on in these cities. And I like places like Charlotte, North Carolina. I lived there for 11 years, so I still have ties there and have friends there. And places like Tulsa, I know people that live in places like Tulsa, Baltimore, New York City, Florida, all across Florida. So I know a lot of people in a lot of places across the country. But I'm not surprised, but what's fascinating is that when I call some of these people that I know and I ask them, hey, what's going on in your town? And I said, hey, I've heard something that somebody might have told me that happened in your town. And everyone seems to justify why what happened. You know, they always find a way to justify why certain things happen. And that's very important. That's a very key concept. And this is something that I've been saying for the past, if you've been following me for a while, I always say, if you're a black man living in this country, you have no friends. Because these women are across the board, I don't care what woman you decide to settle down with or lay up with, at the end of the day, you're going to have to think and do things that's in the best interest for yourself. Because no one is going to care about you as much as you care about yourself. And a lot of these women and a lot of these people that I know, which are mostly women, are afraid. They're full of fear. And my father used to tell me before he died, rest in peace, that when people are afraid, forget about it. All bets off. They're liable to say and do almost anything imaginable. He says when that fear get in them, and if they don't know who they are, and they have no standards, forget about it. So he said that try not to be too dependent upon anybody to the extent that you would put them in a position and they would be so afraid of the consequences involved that they probably would end up throwing you under the bus. Because what he told me he kind of paraphrased it, but I met somebody else that told me the same thing, but in a short version. He said, at the end of the day, all behavior is controlled by consequences. That's real. All behavior is controlled by consequences. And this is why you have a lot of white folks that won't leave us alone, because they don't have a reason to leave us alone. And even if what we're gonna do about it? I mean, if someone's harassing you in the street, if the bully's harassing you in the street, the only way you're gonna get the bully off you is if you do something about it. Because the only thing a bully respects is aggression or equal aggression. So white folks are not going to leave you alone if you're a black male, or if you're just black person in general. Especially if you're a black male, white folks are not going to leave you alone. We have to force them to leave us alone. See, a lot of black people in this country fall for the okie doke. They think that if you sit down to the table with white folks, that they're gonna, we'll come to an agreement, and we'll coexist amongst each other, and we'll live happily ever after. It's not gonna happen. No, white folks are not gonna stop doing something because of morals, or no. It's people, for the most part, that hasn't happened. If that was the case, that would have happened 30, 40, 50, 100 years ago. But it hasn't happened. White folks don't do things for good morals like we do. We're like a spiritual people. We believe in doing the right thing. We're more human like than anyone else on this planet. So we pretty much could coexist in nature with no problems if no one else exists. But a lot of the other people that's out here, they're not like that. If they see a bug, they'll step on it. Even if they see a snake, even though the snake is not bothering them, they'll shoot it anyway and kill it. But if I see a snake, as long as the snake going in the opposite direction and I'm going in the opposite direction, we good, no problems. If I see a dog running in the yard, as long as he's leaving, no problem. But some people will take out their gun and shoot the dog. Pow! You know what I'm saying? Some people just like that. So, the reason why I bring that up, the point I'm trying to get to is, like, you have to force white people to leave us alone. We have to pay these politicians to pass laws and public policies on a local level that's in our best interest. We have to stop falling for the okie doke. Stop listening to the media. Stop listening to these black people that they put up there to speak. Because everything, there's no freelancing on television. Everything is script. They put these black people, or put people that look like you, on television for a reason. And they say exactly what they want them to say. If not, they wouldn't be back on there. They would have been off there a long time ago, off these networks. But they keep bringing them back over and over because they say stuff that the white folks can't say. Otherwise, they would be looked upon as being racist. You know what I'm saying? So this is why I say, if you're a black male, you have no friends. And a lot of these women, you can pretty much, if you ask the right question, you can pretty much know what type of a woman you're dealing with. For example, let's say you might have met a woman, and if maybe she tells you that maybe you asked her, maybe she tells you, or you asked her that she had a habit of calling cops on people. She calls the cops on people at her house. She calls the cop when she's out and about. Maybe she need escort at work. She has a habit of calling cops all the time. If calling the cop is her number one solution to solving a problem, or maybe the justice system, the court system is the number one solution to solving a problem, that's a red flag. That's the type of person that you don't really want to be around, because she lacks social skills. She doesn't know how to control her livelihood. She hasn't figured out. So what happens is she's immature, probably just don't know what she's doing. So she needs a third party to come in and help solve her problem. And that's somebody that you should don't walk, run, because they're going to destroy your life. And that's just one example of just some people that you just don't want those people in your life. You know what I'm saying? And they're not going to be on your side. And this is why I say you have no friends, because this is why a lot of guys are on child support today, because the child support is a form of hustle. It's a hustle, and a lot of women put these guys on child support not because they wasn't taking care of their responsibilities, because they needed a check. They needed extra money to come in every month. And plus, you probably know just as I know, that child support money is not going towards the child. That child support money is going towards whatever she wants the money to go towards. And plus, in most cases, even when the guy, he's going to see his child if he cares about her, and when he picks him or her up, he's going to spend more money on her outside of the child support money, because that's just what parents do, because he's going to take her out to eat, or wherever they go to the mall, going on a vacation together. He's spending more money on top of the money that he's paying every month for child support. But a lot of these women, they don't care, because it's not about the kids, it's about them. And the reason why these guys get put on child support, because a lot of these women know you're an easy target. You're not going to do anything about it. You know what I'm saying? So that's why they do it. Because like I said, all behavior is controlled by consequences. And trust me, a lot of these women would not try this shit with most white guys. They would not do it, because they know they will not be able to get away with it. And they know they probably be floating out in the river somewhere. They would vanish, and no one would ever see them again. And this is why a lot of these women do what they do. They prey on the weak. That's what this whole economic U.S. system is all about. Prey on the weak. This is a capitalistic system that we live in. And you have to be aware. A lot of women, just a lot of people in general, they take on the persona of white folks in most cases, because a lot of women will come over here from other countries and they'll pick up stuff through osmosis, and sometimes they'll treat us worse than white folks in a lot of cases. You know what I'm saying? Because they're trying to get brownie points. And so it's like they'll sacrifice you and me to get it, and they'll do almost anything to live a certain type of lifestyle. And why do they do it? Because they can. Because there's nothing you or me can do about it in their eyes. I mean, what are you going to, if she put you on child support, what are you going to do about it? What, whine and complain? Protest? Nobody cares. Who cares? I mean, if anything happens to you, and if you're with her, she'll find a way to justify it in some type of way. I mean, if look at last year, or maybe it was earlier this year, a guy wrecked his car on the side of the road. Or I think he flipped his car on the side of the road, and he managed to get out the car, and he knocked on some white. He just knocked on the door. He didn't know if it was white or not. He just knocked on the door because he needed help. Basically, he was trying to call the hospital or something, because he needed medical help because he was bloody and all over the place. And the lady called 911, and the cop showed up and shot the guy. And his girl, and I think weeks later, once the guy he ended up dying, his girlfriend, I think which was, she was living with him at the time, or I don't know if she was living with him or not. But that doesn't matter. But what matters is what she said. She said that she justified why the cop killed him. I'm sorry. This is what she said. She said she understands why the white woman called 911 and why the cop shot her boyfriend. She said if a black man, if I was a white woman and the big black man came to my door, I would be scared as well. So I understand, you know. And then she started talking about she's gonna pray for forgiveness and this is what he would want and all this crap. And she said this on television, you know, on television. And this is why people do what they do to us, because a lot of us, all we want to do is pray and forgive. And a lot of these people are taking money. They're cashing out. So a lot of times when you see a lot of these people, like in places like Charleston after that shooting incident at the church, these people came on television talking about how you gotta forgive and all this because they done cashed out, they done got paid. So people around the world are looking at this. People across the country are looking at this. And this is starting to be a trend. It's starting to be a trend even with cops. If a cop kills a black male, that's a come up now. You know, within a couple of months or 2 years, he or she might be a millionaire because they're not going to get convicted. All they're going to do is go through the system, because what happens in most cases, they usually overcharge the cop if they even get convicted, even if they don't go to trial. You know, in most cases they don't go to trial, but even if they get charged, they usually overcharge them. Like they might give them a charge like first-degree manslaughter or something like that, and that's going to be hard to prove because you have to prove that the person got up out the bed, damn near got out the bed that morning with the intent to kill the person, and you can't prove that a cop got out his bed and planned the whole with the intent to kill the person if he stopped them down the street because they were speeding or because they wanted to. You can't prove that in a court of law. So they'll overcharge them, and once they can't prove that in court, the case dismissed. So the cop, you know, they'll get another job somewhere else, and they're free. So that's a come up for a cop. Plus, even if they get suspended, they're on paid leave. So there's no consequences. Nothing happens. So we're a commodity in this country. No one has our back. People can basically do anything they want to us. If you're a white cop, you can basically do anything you want. If you're a white guy, you can basically do anything you want. And there's no consequences. So this is why I say we have no friends. No one has our back. You're just out here just like I'm out here, basically. So what you see with me is charm, wit. I'm street savvy, but I'm pretty much a loner. I don't have anybody. There's nobody behind me. I don't have the system behind me. I don't have the cops, the judges, district attorney. They're not behind me. And this is why they do what they do to us, because they can. I mean, you don't see no cops shooting Chinese people in the back, Japanese people in the back, or other white people in the back, because they know what's going to happen. It's going to be some consequences, and someone is going to have to answer to that and be accountable for that. But when it comes to us, the rules change. This is why, if it's meant to be, it's going to be up to you and me. All we got is us. We don't got nobody else. Now, some guys will say, hey, I got my woman. She loves me. Look, when it comes to love, I don't get into that. Love is different for everybody. Love, for some women, if you stop doing what she wants you to do, whatever that is, that love could stop overnight. So love, and a lot of these guys that I've met over the years, they don't really know where the woman stands. They don't really know how the woman sees them. So, and at the end of the day, either you like me, you care about me, or you don't. I don't get it in that love game. You know, if you like me, care about me, or you don't. That's it. You know, but it really doesn't matter how people feel about you, how much they like hanging around you. That's kind of minor. It doesn't really matter. What matters is that the people that you surround yourself with are smarter than you, because you're only as strong as the people that you have around you. And you know, if you're a black male, the system doesn't have your back. And if when the shit hits the fan, you're going to have to do what's in the best interest of yourself. And most people are sheep. And they're going to be afraid when shit hits the fan. And most people are always going to find a way to justify why what happened to you happened to you. I don't care who it is. And nobody's special. You know, there's a lot of people that say, "Oh, you know, I'm different. She would never do a thing to me like that." No, I know a lot of people that think like that, and they're in jail because they thought that their woman would never do such a thing, and she would never tell on them, or she would never say things that she should have never been saying, even though they didn't necessarily do anything wrong. They just the cops and the whole justice system have a way of taking bits and pieces of things that you might have said and creating paperwork, a narrative. Because when you go in the courtroom, it's not about justice or what's true or what's false. It's not about that. It's about commerce. And that's it. So if you like what you heard, subscribe to my channel, check out my blog, chooseyourrelationships.com. Until next time, Sharp Game is out. Peace.